I mean, what did Audre Lorde say? The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. Today, I'm going to make an argument that will cause me more stress and pain than I need right now, but it must be said. The various communities online like LLC Twitter, Rock Nation Brunch Twitter, Black Girls in Luxury, Rich Black Girl Aesthetics, Carefree Black Girl, and other communities I'd rather not name because they are fanatical. They all share one desire in common, and that is individual capital over all, everything. Hello besties, welcome and welcome back to Black Wahala, and today we will be talking about capitalist desires and some communities and aesthetics that aren't as liberatory as they would like you to think. Let's not fool ourselves. Wealth is a captive desire for many people on the globe. I mean, it has to be because we live in this capitalist society. You can't live anywhere without subjecting yourself to the system. However, many of these communities present this desire as if it is something that is liberatory. As much as people would not like to admit, wealth is at the very center of all these communities. Accruing wealth, accruing material objects, getting a bag, spending money, consuming, buying stocks, going on vacations to exotic places, and in general, just being rich. It's unfortunate because the writing is on the wall. When you choose to advocate for people to accrue wealth in this way, you are emphasizing the individual in all of this. The individual is in the center of all of this. I think it is then odd to then cloak this desire as a collective movement when the individual and the individual's access to wealth is, like I said, at the very center. How can we all collectively accrue wealth? We know it doesn't work that way. There will always be someone who is getting subjugated and exploited because that's how capitalism works in our world. We can't all be living lives of luxury because who will then provide the labor for you to then live that life of luxury? Who? You already know the answer to that question. It will always be the most marginalized people in our society who will be providing that labor. The very same people that these communities and movements are preaching to live lives of luxury and wealth. Just because you are individually enjoying something does not mean it will be collectively shared or be a collectively empowering thing. Sometimes these things aren't empowering. We just like to do things for the sake of doing things. Not everything is empowering. So a typical response to my claims, assertions is always, well, I want to live a life wrapped in capitalist desire. What's wrong with that? Black people are always thinking of the collective. What's wrong with me thinking about myself? And of course, I have no qualms. I don't think that's an invalid response. Yeah, we all have to think about ourselves. And I'm not trying to stop you from doing so. But what I will say is this: as a Black person, whether you choose to recognize this or not, the Black subject is required to function in a certain way in the Western North American desiring machine, which is different than other people. The system's primary target is the Black body, and it has been that way since the 15th century. How are we all going to willingly participate in a system and move further into the system when it is there to eat us up and think we're going to get free? The math ain't mathin'. Something ain't adding up. The same problem that I had with a particular community I've talked about before on this channel exists here too. You cannot use the neoliberal, neocolonial, colonial, and capitalist language used by your oppressor to find inclusion and liberation. It will not happen. Like, it won't happen because the language is always exclusive and invested in domination and power, especially the domination of you, beloved. When we use that same language to push back and do what we think is the work of inclusion, we actually will be leaving a lot of people out. I mean, what did Audre Lorde say? The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. So am I wrong in smelling a rat here? These communities are constantly expressing how Black people have been left out from the images and construction of wealth. And I totally get it. But don't you see that there was already something like innately wrong in these constructions and images of wealth to begin with? And that these constructions and images of wealth are also deeply entrenched in empire. For instance, and I'm not trying to pick on this group like at all, they're just the group that provides the easiest example. The girlies who are invested in Black girls in luxury are always saying that luxury doesn't only mean wealth. Okay, well, that's good and well, but we cannot ignore that this language of luxury and the images that they propagate are historically aristocratic. The image of luxury that is conjured up when you think of the word luxury has had a lot to do historically with somebody else being in a position of subjugation. You need money to do this and to look like this. Something I also just realized is that a lot of people in this movement really, really value not looking like cheap or ratchet or ghetto. The luxury that they're glorifying is not, like ghetto fabulous luxury or IG girl luxury. It has a lot to do with looking classy.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I'm just gonna say this. The word classy is very coded, and that should give some of us some pause. So I ask a question to everyone. Can we fathom an understanding of luxury and wealth that does not arrive from the limiting language of capitalism and exclusion? I honestly don't think so. Something that all of these groups heavily emphasize is empty consumerism. You need to buy. Buy as much as you can. But what is often missing and ignored in this is the exploitation that is happening, which is allowing you to consume the way that you are. So who are the people producing the products that you're buying? Are they being paid fair wages? What is the environmental impact of all your consumerism? Obviously, you and I know that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Yeah. And I would be a hypocrite to say that you shouldn't buy things because I buy things. But there is, something about really pushing people to emptily consume and to not think about what the consequences really are for the environment and for those who are working and producing the labor for you to be able to buy these products. Listen, y'all. Global warming is already a big problem. And of course, I'm not going to lay all the blame on the feet of a singular consumer because it's really these multinational corporations that we need to be dogging out. But the climate crisis is really impacting Black communities globally. Black people around the world are really feeling the effects of environmental racism, injustice, and global warming. Side note, if you want to learn more about this, I made a video about ecofeminism a while ago that you should check out. Is it a good video? Questionable. But you should also check it out because I think I make some valid points. So no, I don't want to see you riding an elephant in Thailand, girl, and claiming it is collective liberation for all Black women, when especially you are the only person who is enjoying that. The elephant isn't enjoying that. The tourist leaders aren't really enjoying that. The zookeepers aren't enjoying that, just you, girl. Speaking of elephants in Thailand, let's talk about the intersection of this consumerism with the legacies of colonialism. So if you've been on the internet like at all this year, you would have heard of the ladies in Indonesia who were asked to leave. So basically this is what happened. There was a thread on Twitter by this black woman which was basically meant to guide people on how to thrive in life. She basically said that she decided to book a one-way flight to Indonesia, specifically Bali, with her girlfriend after spending most of 2019 unemployed. So she built her own graphic design business and lived for only $400 a month, which was way less in comparison to her $1,300 per month apartment in Los Angeles. She described Bali as a perfect medicine for her physical and emotional health and listed the benefits of living there, like safety, low cost of living, luxury lifestyle, and acceptance towards LGBTQ people. She also shared her positive experience as a black woman before ending the thread with like a link to her $30 ebook called Our Bali Life Is Yours, which is a guide breaking down how we did it and how you can do it too.
This bitch gonna make me.
Well, all hell broke loose. They actually got kicked out of the country because they were there illegally and Indonesian Twitter found out. Listen, y'all need to stop telling on yourselves on the internet. It's not helping you out. So people on Indonesian Twitter found issues with this thread because there is a lot of tone deaf behavior going on. A lot of things that she mentioned that may be true for you as an American foreigner, but not necessarily true for the people who live in Bali who are locals. People pointed out about how like the locals on that island that they were in Bali were living on like small amounts of money. People were living in poverty and couldn't even afford to live there because apparently a lot of foreigners were moving in. This presented an opportunity to think about the ways in which we, as black people who live in the North or North America, can contribute to the colonial and imperialist agendas that are happening and occurring in the global South. While we might recognize that power escapes us in many ways in the global North, or just by the basis of being a black subject, we are still like deeply entrenched in the colonial projects of the North. Our epistemologies and our ways of understanding the world are still within this very old project of colonialism. So when we travel to other places in the world, because we have been instructed in this system, we sometimes might not recognize that the power dynamics are not the same anymore for us. So like, I'll give a perfect example of this. When I was 13, my family went to Paris for a vacation. It was my first time in France, my first time like remembering actually being in Europe. And people were always assuming that my family was a French-speaking family. People assumed that we were basically like French West African immigrants because we were black. And they treated us poorly, like really badly. Like there's a lot of things that happened on that trip and I was really surprised. But when people would hear someone say something in English, they would be like, oh, wait, you're not French? And we'd be like, yeah. And they're like, where are you from? And we'd be like, oh, we live in Canada. And all of a sudden, a switch up. All of a sudden, we were people. And people were treating us like we were human beings. So what can we say about these visions of wealth and destination, which are most of the time in the global South? What does the need for consumption and discovery of places in order to project wealth and luxury mean? So thank you for watching, everyone. I had a lot to say about this, and I really hope I didn't offend too many people. I know I made somebody upset because somebody about to email me like they've already done. But I just think that a lot of us need a class analysis. I just think poor Black people need to be in the center of any politics of liberation that we are creating. Even though I don't think any of these movements are like liberating or empowering at all. I don't think any of these things are movements. I think they're communities, just like pockets on the internet. But like, it's very strange to me that people will talk of liberation, but poor Black people are not in the center. It's always about gaining wealth in this white supremacist system. So I hope I gave you something to think about if you ascribe to the perspectives of those in these communities I've mentioned. Of course, I never say anything out of malice or hatred. You know, it's just something ain't smelling right. So don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to my channel. If you like what I do on here, videos will be coming most likely on a bi-weekly schedule on Fridays. And if you don't see a video on Friday when it's supposed to come, expect it to come on a Saturday. I just want to quickly thank everyone for subscribing, because now I'm at almost 600 subscribers, which is ridiculous because just 2 videos ago I was thanking people for 500. So that's cool. Thank you so much. You can follow me at Black Wahala on all platforms, so Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, to hear more from me. Bye, bestie.